Hey, this is Jeremy from Production Den. So glad to have you with me on the channel today. Today we're going to be talking about 5 different YouTube creators that I have really enjoyed learning about mixing from on YouTube. So let's jump in. So the first channel that I want to tell you guys about is Make Pop Music by Austin Hall. He's a great producer and he shares a lot of insight into his process for mixing. He doesn't use FL Studio as his main DAW, he's using Cubase, but he has some incredible tutorials on mixing vocals and producing and arranging. 3 of my favorites from him are the producing a pop style track, the mixing female pop vocals, and also a video that's on mixing pop male vocals. He goes really in depth on his processing chain and why he's doing certain things, and I've learned a ton from him. So I highly recommend you check his channel out. Next up on the list for me is HelpMeDevon, and he's another producer that doesn't use FL Studio natively. He mostly uses Pro Tools, but he has some incredible tutorials on producing vocals. My top 3 favorite videos from him is him walking through how to get crystal clear vocals in a mix, and he walks through his plugin chains and how he makes sure that the vocals are standing out inside of a mix. He also has one on how to get a really good reverb sound and delay timing, so he shows you how to set up the plugins to work really well with the song that you are working on. And then he has another one that is about making sure that your vocals are really standing out in the mix. And he has lots and lots of other tutorials. He mainly focuses on mixing and vocal production, but he has a lot of information and a ton of knowledge, a ton of value, and so I highly recommend you guys check his channel out as well. Now the third channel to check out is Kara or Kara. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce the name. Sorry if I butchered that. But she does an incredible job of walking through how she does her vocal productions. She normally is using Ableton, but for the past couple of videos, she's actually shown how to do things in FL Studio, which is really cool. One of my favorite videos from her is how she records and mixes vocals inside of FL Studio. One of the other videos that I really liked from her was how she actually develops melodies and lyrics for her songs. It was really interesting watching her process of coming up with basically scratch or placeholder vocals and then developing those into more full lyrics as she went on. One of the other videos that I like from her a lot is her process on comping vocals. She's doing it inside of Ableton, but a lot of the principles that she's applying can apply to FL Studio as well when you're picking out the best takes from your vocal recordings that you've made for your tracks. And there was one more video that I really liked where she talks about her process for recording and mixing vocal samples. She's worked with a ton of people and has done a ton inside of the Splice community, so it was really cool to see what her process was for actually developing the samples that she's used inside of that platform. The next channel that I want to tell you guys about is Max from FL Studio Tips. He does an amazing job of walking you through the process of creating great mixes inside of FL Studio. I discovered him on Instagram, but found out that he was also putting together some FL Studio videos, and I really enjoyed them and learned a lot. So one of my favorite videos from him is his process for mixing vocals inside of FL Studio with stock plugins. He also has another video where he walks you through the process of how to get the vocal to sit really well inside of the mix, which I think is a really valuable video as well. And the last video that I really enjoyed was his video on writing chords and melodies. I think he does a great job of showing you the basics and fundamentals of how to construct chords and melodies inside of FL Studio. So definitely check his channel out. And last but not least on the list is K Collier, who has a lot of videos about vocal and music production in general. She works inside of Ableton, but there's a lot that you can learn from her and transfer inside of FL Studio. One of my favorite videos from her is one on the plugins that she uses that are under $100. She gives some great advice for plugins that she really enjoys and uses and shows how she uses them in her mixes. She also has a video on her top vocal production techniques, as well as her top music production techniques. And all those videos are super valuable. I've learned a lot, so I highly suggest you go check her channel out and subscribe to her as well. Well, I hope it was helpful for you to be able to see a couple of different channels that I have learned a lot from in music production and vocal production, especially in the mixing realm. I'm still working and learning and growing and developing in that area, and so I love to find resources and other people that can teach me and help me learn how to do things better. And I hope that you all will enjoy learning from them as well. Check out those channels and subscribe to them. I'll leave links in the description below to each of those videos, and I will see you in the next round.